Welcome to the CNBC Africa special. I'm Chris Bishop. So COVID-19, the world story, the African story, everyone's talking about it. We're getting so many reports from around the globe about what's happening. Is the curve being flattened? Is the war being won? Well, also, there's talk about a vaccine. Trials are going on at this very moment. A lot of questions, and we've got a lady with me on the line today who can give us a lot of answers. It's Dr. Marion Morkel, the Chief Medical Advisor at Sanlam. So just to start off with, Marion, the world picture. I mean, we're getting stories that there are more cases in the States, South America's suffering. Obviously you assess the world picture daily in your job. What is the latest situation?
Hi, Chris. I am flattered you're saying a lady with many answers. I have more questions than answers, but certainly we do track it on behalf of Sanlam globally and also as a medical professional. So over the world, globally, we're seeing more than 9.2 million confirmed cases. We also have well over 400,000 deaths. And that is a huge cause for concern. Are we flattening the curve? Certainly in some areas it would appear so. New Zealand is a wonderful example of flattening the curve. We have seen early successes with South Korea, but in the Americas, both North America and South America, a lot still needs to be done before flattening the curve. Alarmingly, in the USA, we are seeing that uh, over the last day or so, they flagged concerns around Texas and Florida, for instance, in which they're seeing more than 5,000 new cases. It's not surprising. Unfortunately, America has been globally watched because they're such a televised nation. And because of all the challenges with social distancing, both from a community perspective and drives, humanitarian drives, as well as from different regulations on at every state, it has been a cause for concern that they're seeing another surge of cases. Uh, is this a second wave? There's no definition of a first or a second wave. A wave, though, is defined as sustained, ongoing new infections. And certainly in USA, we are seeing a really bumpy first wave, but still on an upward trajectory.
Now, in terms of, I know it's a very difficult question to answer, how long is a piece of string, but I mean, what do you think? You think we're talking about, in world terms, like years, or are we talking next year?
Indeed, how long is a piece of string? So, what we can tell, what we know for sure, is that this COVID 19, the SARS coronavirus 2, is family of the other coronaviruses. And what we can say is that after a few months, those coronaviruses stabilize to a certain level of prevalence and incidence in a community or in a nation. We're hoping the same will result with this new virus, but we are not sure. Um, we are seeing signs that uh, we are getting a control of the virus. We are a little bit more adept in managing patients who end up in ICU of the virus, but it still remains a very, very rocky road. So most public health officials estimate that at least for the next 12 to 18 months, coronavirus is going to play a significant part of our daily lives.
Now, I'm just quoting some of the figures put out by Finance Minister Tito Mboweni in the emergency budget yesterday, and he was applauding 50,000 community health workers who helped to test 1.3 million people in this country for COVID-19. It's a huge amount, but as you and I know, it's still a relative drop in the ocean in terms of the whole picture. Do you think that the country is doing enough, you think, to fend off this pandemic?
I'm not too sure, Chris, if there's ever a country that you would say is doing enough. I think many countries have been very laudable in what they've been doing. And in fact, South Africa is one of them. I stand humbled by the health professionals in the community, in the public health space, who has done everything in their power, liaising with colleagues all over the world, with making sure the resources, given that we do actually have a difficult hand to begin with, is there available so that we can fight this pandemic. So, yes, can we be doing more? Yes, we can, but it's not for lack of trying. And I am humbled by the amount of people we have reached already by the testing. But it is also up to us. It isn't just the health officials dispensing information to everyone. Every one of us and what we do, how we act, how we go for testing, when we go for testing, all matters. And particularly how corporations respond to this. Uh, we must not minimize the role that corporations like Sanlam, like other insurers, can play in helping to flatten the curve.
And do you think, as a school of thought, that maybe South Africa, even though we're in dire economic straits, is opening the economy far too quickly, bearing in mind the curve may have been flattened, but it's still there? What's your view on that one?
That's a very difficult one, Chris. South Africa has many challenges. Health burden is one. And we recognize our health burden. We've got a huge HIV burden in comparison to the rest of the world. We've got a huge TB burden. And in fact, what we don't often tout is we've got a very huge lifestyle diseases of lifestyle burden. We've got enormous amount of diabetes, hypertension in the world. In fact, over the age of 50, we're one of the leading countries in the world with adults with hypertension. But we do also have an economic burden. And our challenges, you heard some health officials already flagging that already there are early cases of children presenting to hospital with signs and evidence of malnutrition because of economic inactivity. Unfortunately, we do have challenges with economic activity and we have to balance these priorities. It is not good enough just to say we are going to save so many lives in our fight against COVID-19, but then ignore all the other stressors that influences all our well-being and our health in other ways. So I do believe it was important to open the economic activity as we did, but now it is up to us as citizens, as business owners, small business, medium, large business, to act responsibly and to make sure that business open is not the same as it was, but a new normal in which we try to keep everyone safe and ourselves.
Now, just to talk a little bit about your business, and I know that Sanlam has made provisions for pandemics. Obviously, you've had it for years, but how hard has it been to grapple with this pandemic in your kind of business?
It has been probably the most challenging conundrum for literally every insurer. This is not just a South African view, this is a global view. And yes, we do make reserves available for pandemic risk like this. And we are quite confident that we are covering our clients and our customers well. A challenge that we do have is around our living benefits. South Africa's landscape in insurance industry is one of the most complex and expansive in the world. And living benefits has been so competitive that we've expanded in a way that we do need to look at how we make sure our pandemic risk there and our reserves there meet all our living benefit products. In addition to this, something that was very important that we learned from this pandemic risk is that we shouldn't look at our clients one dimensionally. The virus doesn't just affect health and therefore the products that we cover under the health products that we cover, but it also affects people financially. And so there are problems with flexibility of payments. How do we give premium holidays? How do we give people that assurance that you still have good cover? You still have the cover, but yes, let's see how we can work a plan around the premiums and make sure that the business still strives. So these are all challenges we're grappling with, and hopefully we are meeting our customers where it matters most.
And just one last question. How much is it going to change in the way your company does business? I mean, many people I've interviewed on these shows here at CNBC Africa started life driving across South Africa to remote spots, selling people policies and life policies, insurance policies. That's clearly not going to happen anymore. And how is your company going to approach the fact that it's all very well for you and I to talk on Zoom, we've got bandwidth, but some people in this country are still don't have the bandwidth, they don't have the connection. How's the business going to tackle that problem?
Chris, this has been a very steep learning curve for all of us. Sanlam is one of the oldest insurers in the country. And so, yes, you're quite right. From what was that physical advisor knocking at your door with a briefcase and sharing to you the product specifications, as well as having this medical examination, we've had to do a lot of things online. Thankfully for us, even in poorer areas, urban areas and rural areas, we are quite connected. Not necessarily laptop or computer, but we are smartphone connected. And we have quickly learned that our customers adapt really quickly to the new normal. Virtually more than 80% of the entire country was worshipping online for an extended period. And a lot of us were even dating online if I look at the statistics that's coming from this. So it is a new normal. What we do need to understand is what our customers prefer. And we're looking more and more about how concrete our hybrid model is about. When they want to interact physically, we should have the available resources, albeit in a safe manner. And if they want to do that digitally, even if it's just a smartphone, we must be able to give them that access that they so dearly need.
Well, thank you very much indeed with those wonderful insights there on the war against COVID-19 and how it's being affected here. Thank you very much. That was Dr. Marion Morkel, the Chief Medical Advisor at Sanlam. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for on this CNBC Africa special. From me, Chris Bishop, and the team, it's goodbye.